The top 10 richest NBA players of all time, from triple-doubles to triple-digit millions. Let's be honest, most of us feel like financial gurus when we find a forgotten $20 bill in our jeans pocket. We start eyeing that premium steak at the Las Vegas Strip like we just closed a merger. But in the world of the NBA, pocket change is usually enough to buy a small island or a fleet of Italian sports cars that most people can't even pronounce. We are not just talking about I can buy a nice house money. We are talking about I own the team, the arena, and possibly the air you're breathing right now. While most players blow their first paycheck on a chain that weighs more than a toddler, the legends on this list turn their jerseys into suits and their sneakers into global conglomerates. Grab your calculators and a glass of something expensive. Let's count down the 10 men who proved that while the ball eventually stops bouncing, the direct deposits don't have to. Number 10. Grant Hill, the comeback king of capital. Age 53. Residence, Windermere, Florida. Career highlights: 7-time All-Star, 1995 Co-Rookie of the Year, Hall of Famer. Net worth $250 million. Fun fact, he is a part owner of the Atlanta Hawks. Kicking off our list at number 10 is Grant Hill. Now, if you're a younger fan, you might know him as the smooth-talking executive or the guy on the official Atlanta Hawks ownership page. But back in the day, G. Hill was supposed to be the next Jordan. Before injuries tried to sabotage his career, he was a walking highlight reel for the Detroit Pistons. At 53 years old, living in the lush greenery of Windermere, Florida, Hill has mastered the art of the second act. While his ankles were fragile, his business sense was made of titanium. He earned over $140 million in salary alone, but his real flex was a lifetime deal with Fila that kept the checks rolling in long after he hung up the high tops. He didn't just stop at playing, he bought the building. He's a part owner of the Atlanta Hawks, proving that the best way to ensure you never get benched is to own the person who does the benching. Number 9. Kevin Durant, the Slim Reaper of Silicon Valley. Age 37. Residence, Houston, Texas. Career highlights: 2-time NBA champion, 2014 MVP, 4-time scoring champion. Net worth $280 to $300 million. Fun fact, he's the only person with 4 Olympic gold medals in men's basketball history. Next up is the youngest man on this list, the 37-year-old scoring machine, Kevin Durant. Residing in Houston, Texas, KD is the personification of efficiency. He scores 30 points without breaking a sweat, and he makes $30 million without getting off the couch. Durant's career highlights read like a basketball fever dream: 2-time NBA champion, 2014 MVP, and 4-time scoring champion. But while he's lethal on the court, his 35 Ventures firm is lethal in the boardroom. He got into tech investments early, putting money into companies like Postmates and Coinbase before they became household names. KD isn't just a national treasure, he's an international one. He's the only person with 4 Olympic gold medals in men's basketball history. If they ever make a mountain for basketball players, KD's silhouette is going on it, probably while he's tweeting back at a fan. 8. Hakeem Olajuwon, the dream of real estate. Age 63. Residence, Sugar Land, Texas. Career highlights: 2-time NBA champion, 2 times Finals MVP, 12-time All-Star, NBA all-time blocks leader. Net worth $300 million. Fun fact, the first non-American to win an NBA MVP award. At number 8, we have Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. The 63-year-old legend lives in Sugar Land, Texas, which is fitting because his bank account is incredibly sweet. Hakeem didn't just dominate the paint with his dream shake, he dominated the Houston real estate market with the same footwork. As a 2-time NBA champion and the all-time blocks leader, Hakeem was a nightmare for centers in the 90s. Post-retirement, he pivoted to acquiring massive amounts of land and commercial property in Texas. His secret? He doesn't take out loans. He buys everything in cash to stay within his religious principles. That is a level of boss most of us can't even comprehend. He was the first non-American to win an NBA MVP award, opening the floodgates for the international stars we see today. 7. Shaquille O'Neal, the big entrepreneur. Age 54. Residence, Bell Canyon, California. Career highlights: 4-time NBA champion, 3 times Finals MVP, 2000 MVP. Net worth $400 to $500 million. Fun fact,
He was traded to the Miami Heat in 2004 from the Los Angeles Lakers after a feud with Kobe Bryant. You knew he'd be here. Shaquille O'Neal, the 54-year-old giant living in Bell Canyon, California, is perhaps the most visible retired athlete on Earth. Whether he's selling you car insurance, printers, pizza, or gold bond powder, Shaq is everywhere. With 4 rings and 3 finals MVPs, Shaq was the most physically dominant force to ever play. But his wealth comes from a massive portfolio. He's owned dozens of 24-hour fitness centers, hundreds of Five Guys franchises, and is a major shareholder in Authentic Brands Group, which owns the rights to legends like Marilyn Monroe and Elvis Presley. After a legendary and spicy feud with Kobe Bryant, Shaq was traded to the Miami Heat in 2004, where he promptly won another ring just to prove a point. 6. Vinnie Johnson, the microwave that cooked gold. Age 69. Residence, Detroit, Michigan. Career highlights: 2-time NBA champion. Net worth, $500 million. Fun fact: he was nicknamed the microwave in the NBA for his ability to score quickly off the bench. This is the entry that usually makes people double-check their screens. Vinnie the Microwave Johnson wasn't a perennial all-star or a global icon like Shaq, but at 69 years old and living in Detroit, Michigan, he is worth $500 million. How? He founded Piston Group, an automotive supply company, in 1995. He took the Bad Boys Pistons work ethic and applied it to the manufacturing industry. Today, his company is one of the largest minority-owned businesses in the US. He went from scoring 10 points in 2 minutes to generating billions in revenue. His nickname, the Microwave, was given to him because he could heat up and score instantly off the bench. It turns out he was also heating up his investment portfolio. 5. Kobe Bryant, the Mamba's eternal legacy. Age 41, 1978 to 2020. Residence, Newport Coast, California. Career highlights: 5-time NBA champion, 18-time All-Star, 2008 MVP. Net worth, $600 million. Fun fact: co-founded Granity Studios and won an academic award in 2018 for Best Animated Short Film. The late great Kobe Bean Bryant remains a titan of both sport and business. Passing at the age of 41, the Newport Coast legend left behind an empire built on Mamba mentality. Kobe wasn't satisfied with 5 rings. He wanted to dominate storytelling and venture capital. His $6 million investment in body armor turned into a $400 million windfall when Coca-Cola bought the company. He approached business with the same sociopathic intensity he used to drop 81 points on the Raptors. Kobe is the only person on this list with an academic award. He won an Oscar in 2018 for his short film Dear Basketball, proving that he could win a trophy in a tuxedo just as easily as he could in sneakers.
4. Junior Bridgman, the secret blueprint. Age 71, 1953 to 2025. Residence, Louisville, Kentucky. Career highlights: played 12 seasons, Bucks, Clippers, without ever starting more than half his games in a season. Net worth, $1 to $1.4 billion. Fun fact: traded by the Los Angeles Lakers to the Milwaukee Bucks for Basketball Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If you want to know who the smartest guy in the room is, look for Junior Bridgman. The 71-year-old, who we recently lost in 2025, was a solid NBA player for 12 seasons, but he was never a superstar. He never started more than half his games in a season. However, while his teammates were partying, Bridgman was studying the business models of fast food franchises. He built an empire of Wendy's and Chili's locations, eventually becoming one of the most successful franchisees in history. He later bought Ebony and Jet magazines. In 1975, he was part of the trade that sent Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the Lakers. Most people remember Kareem in that trade. The smart money remembers Junior. 3. LeBron James, the king of longevity. Age 41. Residence, Los Angeles, California. Career highlights: NBA all-time scorer, 4-time champion, 4-time MVP. Net worth, $1.3 billion. Fun fact:
He is the first active NBA player to become a billionaire. "I want to be a billionaire," LeBron once said. And then he just did it. At 41 years old, living in Los Angeles, LeBron is still playing at an all-NBA level while his net worth climbs like his career scoring total. As the NBA's all-time scorer, his 4 rings and 4 MVPs are only half the story. His company, Spring Hill Entertainment, and his stakes in Fenway Sports Group, Liverpool FC, Boston Red Sox, have made him a global mogul. LeBron is the first active NBA player to become a billionaire. He didn't wait for retirement to collect his gold watch. He bought the company that makes the watches. 2. Magic Johnson, the business wizard. Age, 66. Residence, Los Angeles, California. Career highlights, 5-time NBA champion, 3-time MVP, 12-time All-Star. Net worth, $1.6 billion. Fun fact, Forbes named him a billionaire in October 2023. Earvin "Magic" Johnson is the gold standard for life after sports. The 66-year-old Los Angeles icon turned his 5 rings and Showtime charisma into Magic Johnson Enterprises. He famously brought Starbucks and movie theaters into underserved urban communities, proving that diversity was good for the bottom line. Whether it's owning a piece of the Dodgers, the Lakers, or a massive insurance company, Magic has the Midas touch. Forbes officially named him a billionaire in October 2023. Not bad for a guy he spent his 20s throwing no-look passes. Michael Jordan, the Jumpman. Age, 63. Residence, Jupiter, Florida. Career highlights, 6-time NBA champion, 5-time MVP, considered the GOAT. Net worth, $4.3 billion. Fun fact, he became a NASCAR team co-owner in 2020. Who else? At 63 years old, living in Jupiter, Florida, Michael Jordan isn't just the GOAT on the court, he's the GOAT of the bank account. His 6 rings and 5 MVPs are legendary, but the Jordan brand, a division of Nike, is a cultural phenomenon that generates billions annually. His sale of the Charlotte Hornets recently skyrocketed his net worth, putting him in a stratosphere where he isn't just rich for an athlete, he's rich for a human being. MJ's competitive fire couldn't stay away from the track. He became a NASCAR team co-owner, 23X1 Racing, in 2020 because when you've conquered the air, you might as well conquer the asphalt. And there you have it, the men who turned a round ball into a global empire. It goes to show that while talent gets you in the door, it's the Mamba mentality in the boardroom that builds a dynasty. These guys aren't just playing a game, they're owning the league. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the pockets of the NBA's elite, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more legendary content. Drop a comment below. Who's your favorite player turned mogul? Which of these legends' business moves surprised you the most?